Grand Day Royals. Grand a New Year's. Welcome. This is our first show of 2025. Oh my God, we're here. We will be celebrating our fifth year anniversary this year in March. I am super excited about that. More details to come. New shows, new things. Oh my God, grand things. However, we'll share at another time. I want to get right into this interview. We have none other than a queen I met at the Gary International Film Festival this year. We're going to talk a little bit with Miss Terra. I hope I didn't butcher your name, but Terra Cooks, Miss Poetry in Motion herself. Let's bring her on. How you doing,
Grand
Queen?
Rising. Grand
Yes.
Rising. Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me.
Oh, Queen, it is such an honor for you to be here. It is such an honor for you to be here.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Happy New Year to everyone, and happy blessed New Year to everyone.
Yes, Queen. Oh my God. So tell us about yourself.
Oh, I don't know why I always pause when someone asks me that.
I know why it sounded like, okay, well, why now? Because a lot of the
uh,
times they ask me that question and then I kind of like got it down pack and then something changes in my life that changes who I now am. So who am I now?
exactly. That you know what? That's a very good point. That who am I now? That's a very good question because it seems like I keep adding more and more things to the list.
Oh
Um,
God.
well, as you said, my name is Terra, Poetry in Motion Cooks. I am a multi-genre artist, and I think I'm going to coin that. So, if nobody else has, but yeah, I am a multi-genre artist, and I say that because I do so many things in the artist world. I am a recording artist. I am a radio personality. I am a filmmaker now.
Hey.
I am a writer. I'm a writer and a photographer.
Yeah.
Yes, that is my first film. It's a short film,
Yeah.
Tears of a Nation: The COVID Effect, and I had the honor of being having my film debut at the
Yeah.
Gary International Film Festival on October 12th of last year. And the title screen that you're looking at, that is actually some of my photography work, as well
Wow.
as the cover of my album, Reflections. That is also some of my photography. That is actually a photo of Lake Etta in Gary. It's one of Gary's hidden gems. So
Yes, it is.
a lot of people are like, wow, that's in Gary. Yes, that's in Gary. So
Right.
and I thought when I titled the album Reflections, I thought this picture was so perfect for it.
Yeah.
So and it's
Fitting.
like, but then again too, it's like, of course, why use somebody else's work when I can use my own?
Point.
So so that's supposed to be. Yeah, so I am also a published author. I've been published in five anthologies to date. The fifth one was actually Gary's 2020 anthology. Um, so I had the awesome pleasure of being included in that,
Yeah.
and I've been published in four others twice in Mosaic, which is published by National Louis University in Chicago.
Mhm.
So there is so much that I do. I am also a veteran advocate. Um,
Yes.
I am I am definitely an advocate. I've been advocating for veterans for I'd say at least a good 20 years now. So when I started my own nonprofit organization, part of it is definitely geared towards the homeless, the youth, as well
Yeah.
as veterans. So
Yeah.
I actually, in 2017, I actually created an event called the Veterans Valentine.
Okay.
So the plan is, right now I have the next one scheduled for April 26th of this year,
Okay.
and I would definitely be putting more information out about that and coming out real soon. But that is definitely the plan. So I do a lot of work with veterans. I do a lot of representing veterans. I do a lot of helping veterans, and so much so that I'm the granddaughter of a veteran as well as the brother. I mean, good Lord, not me, the brother, but I have a brother and sister that are also veterans, and a nephew that's a veteran as well. So, and many friends that are also veterans. So it just, I guess it was just a natural part of me to do that. Yeah. So, but I work so much with the veterans that I have 3 challenge coins now, and they consider me a veteran. Plus, I represent the Buffalo Soldiers, keeping the history alive.
Come on.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually played a role of Kathy Williams, historically known as Williams Kathy, because she was the only known female Buffalo Soldier and the first female Buffalo Soldier. So so when I go out and speak the history about the Buffalo Soldiers, I also tell her story as well.
Okay. Okay. I love
Yeah.
this.
Well, and if I may share with this also, because a lot of people still don't know that in 2021, the state of Indiana officially recognized the Buffalo Soldiers' contribution to the military as well as to U.S. history.
Oh,
So, what I
wow.
tell people that Buffalo Soldiers is not just Black history; it's
Yeah.
U.S. history and military history.
Teach, Queen. Teach. My God, you're just unfolding. I want to start somewhere though and go a little bit deep into the different facets that is you. Let's start where I met you, which is your filmmaking. How did you get into filmmaking? What made you submit this particular piece to the Gary International Film Festival last year?
Well, first of all, the Gary International Black Film Festival actually has a few years ago they started a filmmaking fellowship, and last year I had the opportunity to apply for it. So I was, needless to say, I was totally ecstatic when I was chosen for it, because everyone who applies is not going to be chosen, but that doesn't mean that you won't get the opportunity. So I definitely want to say that. But it was definitely a major opportunity for me to be chosen as one of the fellows. So it was a 6 weeks intensive fellowship, and the what I got out of it was not just the opportunity to become a filmmaker, but it also it opened up. Not only did it open up other doors for me, but it also made me realize something that I actually already had inside of me, but I just didn't know it. And I guess a lot of the things that I was already doing was kind of preparing me for it as well. And especially being a professional photographer, um, that also fed into that. So, like I said, as you look at the title screen, that's actually some of my photography there.
Yeah.
And it was really funny when I was looking for my title screen, and but it's like, okay, you dummy, you got your own work. Why would you be looking for somebody else's stuff? So, so so I definitely had to utilize that. And but by doing this piece, it actually, because I did the editing, the videography, the photography, the directing, I chose the music for it because I did so much of the work on it,
Yeah.
with the exception of my consultants, and the person who I have to say, big ups to Gregory Eccles for allowing me to use his music in my film.
Yeah.
Um, and it put me in so many different spaces and put allowed me to wear so many different hats.
Yeah.
And this was my first time doing it, but I really felt very proud of myself being able to pull this off, and especially within 6 weeks. And I just got to thinking about the fact that I had COVID myself. I had COVID, so I went through it, and it was not a picnic. It definitely was not a picnic. I know other people who had COVID, and it was it really left a serious impression on them. So this film is not about um, It's not about promoting getting the shot. It's not about, actually going through this illness itself. It's more about the effect that the pandemic left on the world. And it
Right.
was more like the things that we haven't been talking about. So that was the one thing that kept coming back to my mind. While I originally had another piece that I was working on, and
Hmm.
I knew that wasn't going to work out in the right time frame. So I switched it up and I just immediately went to work, getting the interviews done. And I want to thank Ruth Needleman, who was featured in this film. And I had another person, Phoenix Johnson, who was supposed to be in it, but unfortunately, because I had no other choice but to cut it down,
Yeah.
because that's the parameters that were set on me.
Hmm.
But Phoenix Johnson also was also a part of this. He was gracious enough to do an interview. But Ruth Needleman was very vulnerable and transparent in this.
Okay.
She was
Okay.
very vulnerable and transparent in this. And when people saw it, it was like, oh, I know her. I know she's a professor, but I didn't know she was going through that like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
she's 70, she was 79 years old when she did this. And it was like you really had to think about the fact that she's 79 years old. She lives alone primarily, and she was going through this and she was suffering in silence pretty much.
Wow.
And it makes you think about what people go through. And it wasn't because she had COVID, it was actually because of what COVID put her through during that time.
Right.
In the film, she talks about how it sent her back to her childhood. And so even during the interview, she got emotional.
Yeah.
Um, but fortunately, she's doing better now. But I really wanted to shed a light on the after effect, how else people are suffering. Because during my research of this film,
Hmm.
I came to find out that anxiety and depression actually increased globally by 25%. So
Interesting.
it wasn't just in one area. This was globally by 25%. And it got to the point where the World Health Organization, stepped in with their member states and said, hey, we got to do something to address this mental health crisis that's rising. And
Oh
it
yeah.
happened during the pandemic because a lot of people went through a lot of things. People went through depression. We even have to think about what our young people went through, how it affected them. Because I actually had a showing in East Chicago on December 14th,
Hmm.
and that was focused on the youth and hearing what they had to say about how COVID affected them. And I actually got different reactions, but there was one young lady who said that she suffered for 3 years. And
Mm.
it wasn't because she had COVID. Again, this wasn't because they had COVID. This was because of the situation that COVID put them in. So she couldn't go to school. Her graduation was canceled. She started to deal with depression. Her grades started falling because she didn't even see the point in doing her schoolwork anymore because she wasn't in the classroom.
Wow.
And she said it took her 3 years to get through that. And and there's different stories about that. And there are some stories, some people didn't get affected as much. True enough. So I don't want to say that it was all ho hum drum, but the whole point was to start a conversation. And I appreciate the fact that during my 6 weeks of fellowship,
Hmm.
uh, we was also introduced to industry professionals. There were actors, producers, uh, stunt men and women, and some people who had their hands in a bunch of different cookie jars. I had the opportunity to speak with Julius Thomas,
Hmm.
who is a very well known actor from Hamilton and from Law and Order. And when he previewed it, there's a section of it where where Ruth is sideways. And the question was asked, well, did you do that on purpose? And I was like, yes, I did do that on purpose. And the whole point was doing it on purpose because for her and many other people, it was life the wrong way.
Okay.
So that's why she comes in sideways. And then later she's upright. So,
Okay.
but Mr. Thomas said to me that when I approached this subject, this was, he gave me kudos for doing this because he said this is something the film industry hasn't really touched. And so that was kind of an oh wow moment for me.
Oh
And then,
yes.
yeah, and then I also had the opportunity to not only meet uh, virtually as well as in person and get my film critiqued by Fred the Hammer Williamson,
Oh
who is a Gary
yeah.
native.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something else.
Yeah, so I told him, I said, thank you, Mr. Williamson, for critiquing my film and saying what you said, because I went back and revamped it because he said I had a lot of information in there that had to be read. And I said, when you said nobody's gonna read all that, so I went back and revamped it, so and it made it much better. And it
Yes.
was totally awesome. The morning I got that phone call, and Tony Simpson from the film festival said to me, she said, "Good morning, filmmaker Cooks," and I was like, "Man, that was such an indescribable feeling." So
Yes.
to feel that. So I will say that this is my first piece, but it's not my last piece.
Oh, I
So
love.
because
Yeah, I
yeah,
do.
because I am thank you. I am currently working on a music documentary.
Okay. Okay. Did you want to
So and
provide
I
in more detail, or you're fine there?
uh well, just to give a little bit insight about it. There is
Just the touch of it, and then yeah, go for it. Yeah.
well, I've got some notable people that will be making an appearance in the film. I'm going to place clips, snippets of their music, and there's different interviews that I'm doing with people in the industry, but I am approaching it from a slightly different angle than people might expect it to be approached from,
Okay.
considering that it is a music documentary.
Yeah.
But I definitely don't want it to be boring. I want it to be interesting, not only because of the people that's in it and the music that's in it, but also because of the way that I'm approaching it too. So I will say that my father is going to be in it because my father was with Chess Records in the 1960s.
Oh.
And as a matter of fact, a few years ago, I just decided to just Google his name and see what comes up. And I was on YouTube as well, and I found his music on YouTube that some DJs are still using.
Oh,
And I
now.
called him up. Yeah, and I called him up and I said, "Dad, did you know that your music is on YouTube?" He said, "YouTube? No, I didn't know that." So and then I found out that over in Europe, his music is still playing very much over there. I mean, like his 45 is selling for $125.
Wow. Now, come on now.
Yeah, so I grew up. I came from a musical family. I grew up being around music. I grew up in the studio with
Yeah.
my father, playing the piano, playing the guitar, having myself and my siblings playing the harmonica and the tambourine. And I picked up playing the piano for my father. I haven't really touched the keys in a long time though. So because funny thing about that is I can't read music. I play by ear. So,
Okay.
and my first instrument was actually the drum, and it's still my love. So, so big ups to to all my female drummers out there. I was so ecstatic when I saw she leave for the first time.
In the pocket. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I drove my mother crazy with those drums. Man, I turned everything into a drum, buckets, dishes, anything.
This.
So until yeah, she bought me a drum set, but she regretted it though. so,
I love guitar. I
so
love the guitar. So like I'm still working on learning how to play it. Every time I get the opportunity, something comes up and I can't get to practice and different things like that. But I am hoping to play at least something, some song, something this year on my
yeah,
acoustic.
we'll do that. We'll do that. Yeah, I'm about to send you an invitation to a performance of one of my friends who's a guitar player.
Woo, the yay. Okay.
Yeah, and it's actually coming up February 1st too. So
Oh,
most
perfect
definitely.
timing. Perfect timing. You I actually have one of your poems or prayers queued up. So let's go to that real quick. And
Yeah, the prayer, letters to God.
this one
Oh,
is Woman That I Am. So it was
woman that
short.
I am. Okay.
I was a little
That
long.
now, just to give a little insight on that,
Mhm.
one of the people that's actually being featured in the documentary is Dr. Sadiha Weber,
Okay.
uh, uh, and or some people may know him as Dr. C.S. Weber. He was a very notable person in Chicago, and he was my mentor,
Okay.
as not only primarily as a poet, and he was you've heard of the Universal Alley Jazz Jam?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, that's an annual thing that happens in Chicago, and it's been. I think this year would be year 17, I believe, 16 or 17.
Okay.
I want to say 17. Well, in 2015, Dr. Weber actually appointed me as the Alley Griot, and
Oh
I
wow.
thought that was an absolutely awesome title. So that for me, that meant that every year the Alley Jazz Jam took place, I
Uh-huh.
came out and was basically their resident poet. And
That's dope.
there is a lot of artists that get together, singers, dancers, poets, um, uh, artists of many different genres that came out and gave a performance for free for the neighborhood. And
Wow.
it was on I'm sorry, for 14 years. It was on 71st near Jeffrey, and it was a lot of people always came out. The neighborhood was always enjoyed it. It's kind of changed a little bit now,
Hmm.
but Dr. Weber and I, unfortunately, Dr. Weber passed away, but he had the opportunity to hear this piece and grant his blessing to it before he passed away. So I am happy about this. So you'll
Well,
hear me at the beginning,
mhm.
but at the end, you're going to hear Dr. Weber on this.
Okay. Let's go ahead and cue it up.
All right.
Woman that I am, woman that I am, my eyes were cast downward, searching for a place to hide. Woman that I am, I kept searching, beaten, until I found me on the inside. Woman that I am, my eyes began to look, slowly breathing, till I heard me calling my name. Woman that I am, not prideful, but finding my inner pride. Woman that I am, no longer looking down. I look up because I am no longer cast aside.
Building, 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 building. We, we are the Levitical priesthood of musicians. Sit down to earth to create, to create, to create a new Jerusalem, a new world, building sacred space, space, sacred space, space, space.
Oh yeah. I love that. I,
Thank you.
yeah. So who did the music behind it? Is that
That
stemming?
was that was actually at the time that was Dr. Weber's band, Ancestral Resurrection Ensemble.
Okay.
I don't believe the band is together anymore, but I still definitely want to give them recognition for
Oh yeah.
doing that. I am still in touch with some of the musicians though, and actually one, possibly two, is actually going to be in the documentary as well.
Okay. No, that's what's
So,
up. Yeah, I dig that. I don't want to remiss the opportunity regarding your film. Where can this be viewed? Where can our viewers get an opportunity to see it?
well, currently, oh, excuse me, currently there is no scheduled showings of it. But I've been kind of playing around with the idea of how else I want to present it or bring it out, because I have had a lot of people who were not able to come to the showings and want
Yeah.
to know how else they can view it. So I might make it available online.
Okay.
And like I said, people keep in mind it is a very short film, but and actually becoming a filmmaker. And we were warned about this. When you're making a film, doing a short film is actually harder to do than it is doing a feature length, because
Okay.
you have to get your point across in such a short time.
Yeah.
So, you have to have all of the right content, everything, in order to make it still be a good film or a
Yeah.
film period.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely, I can definitely attest to that. It is definitely harder doing a
Yeah.
short film than it is doing a feature length. Um, but is like I said, I think I'm debating on. I'm playing around with the idea of having it available online, because I've had so many people ask me, how can they see it? So I will probably do that like in the next month, and I will be happy to let you guys know, keep you abreast of that, as well as post it on my social media websites and stuff like that, for people to be able to see it. But it's not going to be available when I do make it available. It won't be available for a long time now. So
I just think that, like you were saying, it's a message that has not been completely covered by, our mainstream media. And there were a lot of infects and effects, whether grand or small. Everybody was changed, and be
yeah,
forever changed by what COVID brought forth. Aside from, like you saying, just the sickness or the illness, you had to deal with the mental health. And with that, just hearing the different things that came out of it, I'm just like, initially stemming from fear and doubt. And that was one of the messages that was highly pushed during this era. It was fear.
right,
Of course,
right,
everything that comes along with fearing and doubting is going to stem from the ideology. And it's like, with depression, I'm scared about the past. Still holding on to my yesterday. And then you have the anxiety portion of it, where you're fearful of what's tomorrow. I mean, from their perspective of what they were feeding us, everybody around us is doomed. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
whole way of life is completely over. Everything we know and all the changes had to be made immediately, and it was just insane. We didn't know who to believe, we didn't know who to trust, even our own family members. On top of the
right.
fact, for me, where it really hit was homelessness. And that's one of the documentaries that I actually plan to contribute to the COVID story, which was homelessness became a new face. There was a new face to it, and it necessarily didn't have to be a frown either on it, on that face. It was about how you represented yourself during the time. But COVID left a lot of people homeless and displaced during that time frame. And
Yeah,
people still recovering from that. I know, including myself, still recovering from those effects. So I think this is grand that you have this film, and whatever the duration is, make sure it's out there for people to see, and possibly even going to even Portage Theater or another theater to do an actual another in person screening, and have some form of a interview portion set to the side to be able to discuss it and have people kind of like discuss it as well.
well, thank you for that. That's definitely a grand idea. And
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, you definitely made some very good points because people lost jobs because of COVID. People
Yeah.
had to stay inside because of COVID. People couldn't go to school because of COVID. I mean, there was so many things that happened.
I'm so sorry. On you mentioned jobs, and even on the job tip of things, what I loved about COVID, it actually birthed recreation. It actually took people from looking at jobs from a perspective of how to make money to how am I going to be valued. Like all the way down to every worker, it became more about the value that I bring to this company. I am no different from anybody else here, and I am worthy of being paid a particular way or treated a particular way, or I'm going to do it for myself. And we watched so many entrepreneurs get birthed out of COVID too. It was like this era of recreation. And so that was like a major grand thing that COVID brought about.
That is true. There are some silver linings, how you if you want to look at it that way, to COVID happening. But unfortunately, the flip side of that is that a lot of artists who made their bread and butter on
Yeah.
being an artist,
Yeah.
that actually declined for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Um, and, and and it's like, but at the same time, you had some artists who actually had a
Come on.
platform,
Yep.
created a platform that actually kept things going for them.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah. So unfortunately, you have both sides of the coin, but at the same time, like I said, there are some silver linings for some people in this, and so we definitely have to recognize that because we don't want to just talk about all the drama
Yes.
behind it. So,
Yes. Because
but
that
but
again.
definitely.
So yeah.
Yeah, and something, it's like as we're talking, I'm getting ideas about other ways to present the film
Of
because
course.
uh I also a few years ago it's been about a good 5 years plus now. I also created the author's read, and I know there's other people out there trying to do that stuff now because and I know one of those people because they decided to copy it off me, but I am the original creator of the author's read, and I've been thinking about bringing that back. So maybe if I bring the author's read back, I'll present the film along with it.
I like that. That's a grand idea. It's a grand idea. It's
Yeah,
like a
I'm sorry. Repeat that.
I said it's like a complimentary piece. It's a grand idea.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, but I've got so many. 2025. Excuse me. Has to be my year for doing even more things because I haven't even published my book yet, and the book has been ready to go for like 2 years now. But I have already made preparations to get it published with I would say by the summer.
Okay. Okay, come on. Come on.
Excuse me.
Come on, 2025 authors. I love it. Yes. I'm with you. I have
Yeah,
a
and
few
I appreciate.
well.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and I appreciate the fact that so many people, when I go out and perform as a poet or a spoken word artist, I
Mhm.
love the fact that a lot of people come up to me and say, "You got a book out, or when is your book coming out?" So that's motivation for me to get it done. And I've heard that entirely too many times, and it's like the book is ready to go. So what are you waiting for?
Listen, I'm out. Listen, and that just grows back to which is how we're going to kind of close out here. Skeletorial remains. I always ask my guests, what are their skeletorial remains? What is it through your film, through your books, through your poetry? Is the overarching message that you're sending regarding life, love, liberty? You know what I mean? Like what are those skeletorial remains?
Yeah, everything. That's what it's going to cover. Everything. So I will probably put some of the children or youth related or youth directed poetry in my book, but I must warn people that it is not for children. No, because there is stuff in there that is not child friendly. And you know, it's not raunchy, but it's not child friendly either.
No,
So
but
I'm going to let people know that now. But it does cover a lot of topics, and it is part of my poetry collection, and but it's not your typical poetry collection. Because if anybody knows me, I don't like to be put in the box, and I'm always thinking outside of the box.
listen, of course, you can't even be all that you are here inside of a box. That's impossible, right?
Right, right. Most definitely. So it's not going to be your typical book.
What's
I'm
the
sorry.
what's the overall message that you're sending through your film and your books and your poetry? What is that overarching message that you're sending with your life?
Life. That's really what it is. Life. Different ways. Different ways that I have experienced it. Different ways other people have experienced it. Different ways to experience it, and different ways to approach it.
I like that one. Now I like the approach one. I like the approach one. Like that's
Thank
huge
you.
because how you see it is how you're gonna do it. You know what I mean? So how you see life is how you
Exactly.
live it. And so if you're talking about the different ways, you gotta approach it a particular way because if you're seeing it wrong, and I talked about that on another show, I just having the wrong idea. Now you have the wrong idea, which now will only paint a picture which is the wrong conclusion. And so when you
Right.
say that, the approach to life, like that is, oh honey, hit there, hit the nail on the hammer there.
Yeah, and
Love
that's
it.
the reason why the book is titled "Things Lost and Found in a Mental Fire."
Oh, Queen. Getting back to those basic principles, repent, change your mindset. That's all he's saying. Set the temperature from, there's different temperatures for the winter, there's different temperatures for the summer. Change your mindset. That's all he's asking us to do. Queen, where can we find you? What social platforms? How can we get in contact with you?
Well, if we're still going to have a TikTok, you can currently find me on TikTok. You can find me under the THEE Poetry in Motion. You can also find me on Facebook under Terra Poetry in Motion. You can also find me on Instagram under Terra Poetry in Motion. So, and I have to be honest, I have been kind of ignoring my Instagram lately, but I'm going to get back on that
Okay,
because
good.
people have been,
I couldn't
yeah, because
find
people have been, yeah, huh?
I couldn't find you. I was looking for you on IG to tag you in the ad, and I could not find you. I'm like, what?
Uh-oh. So that means I got a little work to do because I've been, yeah, but I'll be back on it. I'll be back on it because I had been kind of missing in action from Facebook for a minute, but
That's
I've
cool.
been back on it lately. So so people, you can definitely contact me there, or you can even send me an email at poetryinmotion41@gmail.com. But you got to spell it right though. So that's POETRYNMOTION41@gmail.com.
Come on now.
So, and you can definitely check out my music. My entire album, Reflections, is on YouTube. And actually it's on all music platforms, really.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so you can
No,
definitely play that.
that is what's
Yeah.
up.
So,
This has really been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for just sharing with us and what God is doing through you for us. You know what I mean? And for his namesake solely. So this is definitely an honor to have you on. And you jump started our 2025. So I am forever grateful and appreciative for this
oh
opportunity.
wow, I didn't know I was going to be first of the year. Well,
Yes.
I certainly appreciate you guys for having me. So, it's I definitely appreciate the fact that you took an interest in
Yes.
having me on the show, and I so thank you very much for that. And I enjoy being here, and I appreciate the opportunity to so just shed some light on me. So,
Yes.
you know, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to have another Oh, another art exhibit, but if I do, you'll be first one to get an
Oh,
invite.
thank you, Queen. I am honored. Thank you for it. Yes, please let me know. The
Oh, well,
sooner the
thank you.
like the sooner the grander for my schedule. Anybody knows my schedule goes from let's not even play with it. So not even play with it. I'm serious. Like it could be like, oh, I'm available not. Just like it just grows. It
I
boosts.
know,
So
right? I know, right? Yeah, I know that feeling. You
I
know,
don't
my
like
mother used to tell me.
a 2 day delay. Go ahead.
Yeah, my mother used to tell me that this was basically me working for myself. My mother said, "You know, for the person without a job, you the busiest person I ever
Man,
met."
listen, okay. All right. Come on. Steph Floyd,
No,
that's a
I
whole
am not a sedentary person.
yeah.
I, I am
Yeah.
always trying to make something happen, whether it be for me or for somebody else.
Absolutely, Queen. Same here. Same here. Well, Queen, thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you so much. And we'll have to get back. I'm definitely looking to possibly submit something this year to the film festival. We're working on several projects. So I will definitely be, reaching out to you for some insight and some wisdom as to grow forward because this will be my first. We're working on a drama series. We already have a sitcom that we're looking to film again this year and finish out. It's just things in my mind that he's given me as far as recreation, and they have to, be birthed forth. So when you're talking about this year being that year, I think it's the year for all of those he has called forth for his namesake solely to now recreate and set things in order the way in which he desires. So this is our year, Queen. I'm taking it.
Well, that's awesome. That is awesome. I am so happy to hear that.
Go
By
ahead.
the way, I do a little acting too. So if you're interested,
Yes, I am. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes. We got some. Yes, that's it. That's all I needed to hear. So I know what to reach out to you for. Please. I would love
oh,
your
okay.
I would love seriously, I would love your help working on these up and coming projects that we have if you're up for it. And whatever it is, we split the pie equally. That's our truth, that's the kingdom. No gift is above anybody else's. He gave you particular things, he gave me particular things. We bring it together and we eat together. So I would love to have
Amen.
this if you are open and willing to help us with everything that is rock truth, everything that is building his kingdom, because this is what it is.
Yes.
We're taking
Yes.
our environment that we currently have and the different concepts and relating them to or connecting them to kingdom concepts for people to be able to understand the king. And so I would love to have you on board helping.
Oh, well, thank you. I gladly accept.
Grand. Yes. Okay. We're all in a recruiting mode.
Such a beautiful smile too.
Thank you, Queen. Smiling is my favorite. I love to smile. Like I do. Like, and that's what I was saying about, COVID and homelessness having a different face. Like there are a lot of people who was like, you're homeless, you're displaced. And I'm like, yeah, they were like, you never looked like that at all. Not one moment did you reflect that or would I have known that. And you don't have to grow out here and, be down and out about it when you understand that God has you in that position growing through it for him. If he wants you to be somewhere different, he's gonna have you somewhere different. When you're in total submission to the king and the kingdom and his will and his way, man, you get it. And so you don't have to frown about things. It can look a different way. So homelessness had a different face. It had a face that had degrees. I have degrees. How do you get there, right? I have a grand job that pays grand. How do you get there, right? His will,
Hmm.
so thank you. I accept you on this
Thank
journey.
you.
I thank you for it because I have a lot that needs to be done. Excuse me. We have a lot, and I am open to help you with whatever it is that you need help with too. I do a lot of different
Well,
things. So
that's wonderful.
we'll
And I
talk.
like that word understand.
Yes,
Yeah, I like
Queen.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
when yeah, I think you know what you're probably going to be the one that I get to do the documentary of being SelenaKay and understanding how I take the words and change them for cultural value and getting us to have a understanding of wordplay, what words mean, as opposed to having our own what we bring what is the word implied meanings to words as opposed
Hmm.
to actual definition or why these two smaller words were put together to make one, and the meaning is different from what we imply them to mean. So I would love for you to even do that. Like whew, it is
That's not a problem because hey, that's what we artists do.
yes.
That is
Yes.
what, yes, that's what we artists do. So Hey,
Yes,
I'm on board with that.
yes.
I
I
like
could just
wordplay.
yes. Me too, Queen. Me too. I could just see more and more of your purpose in my life this season, and so I'm honored. I'm honored to serve with you already.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm honored as well. I'm honored as well. So,
Yes,
it's been wonderful.
yes.
You have a great show,
Uh,
and I so appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well.
And,
Next time we're going to be in studio, so you get like the camera effects and all of that stuff because we want to see you. And so I'm still going to reach
yay.
out so that we're able to kind of do this again and get the opportunity to see you this time.
Okay, okay, I'm with that.
All
Okay.
right, wait again, such an honor. I'm going to do a little bit more formalities real quick before we get out of here, and then yeah, we'll catch back up with you a little later. Thank you again.
All right. Well, my motto is peace, love, and lipstick.
Come on now.
Rah.
Oh, yes. I love it. I love it. Yes. Granddad Queen.
All right. Grand day to you as well.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, guys. So, oh my God. Now, we'll come to a close real quick. Do not forget this upcoming Friday. Go ahead and check out Keeping It Real with Dr. J. I was actually on there at the beginning of the new year, providing him with some insight and tips on, again, having the wrong idea in relationship. Clips will be coming out. You guys can catch him on TikTok and IG and Facebook, different platforms that we have, so that you're able to see not only his journey, but then also mine. Any questions that you may have, just go ahead and put it into the comment and in the chat, and we'll get back to you and answer you there. If you would like to be a guest on his show, like live, therapy, getting questions answered that you really want to know regarding relationship, because we all say that we want to be loved, but do you know how to do it? And that is the journey. It's not knowing what you want to do. It's not knowing even who it is that you want to love. It's how do you love this person? How do you love yourself? How do you love God? So keeping it real with Dr. J, first and third Fridays. This Friday it is up and coming. Hey guys, are you looking for a speaker? If you're looking for a speaker, seek me out. Hit up my girl Miss Kim J. She'll take care of all of the details regarding it. The contact information is on the ad. If you're looking for it, just about any subject matter, I am well versed in. But definitely what I hone in on, of course, is love and relationship, which is, rock single and mastering singleness, mastering yourself, and being a friend, laying down your lie in your life for another. Leadership, kingdom leadership, fellowship, kingdom law, which is his love. Like, we have to know how the king loves and how to love the king. And then parents and education. A lot of us are parents out here, but we don't even know what it is to be a parent or how to parent our children. We're thinking that our children are supposed to be mini me's, and they're not. They're supposed to be thems or mini hims. And so we want to teach that branding and marketing, self-motivation. Again, that's that mastering singleness piece and getting out of our heads, mental wealth, the information that's being passed down generation to generation, even what you're passing down to yourself on a daily, right? You're microdosing yourself with the wrong idea, with the wrong information. So we want to definitely discuss that with you, your group, or any of the people that you have that you want a speaker for. And then womanism, just definitely heavy in how to be how to be her. That's imperative in life, guys. We got to know how to belong to God again, how to belong to these kings. So it's imperative there. Yes. Recreation is the autumn this year, and I am so super for it. I am excited about everything that God has for us this upcoming year and grateful. So this evening, guys, it is a show that we'll be covering from the Vibe as well. Smooch Wallace will be in the building performing. This is mad dope. So it'll be posted on my page. Look there, look to it for information for this evening show with Troach and Trouble. It's headliners only. Yo, we out here. The Vibe will definitely be in the studio. videos, yo. So you can check us out there if you want to get up with us today. So we are out. Thank you so much again to Miss Cooks, Miss Poetry in Motion herself. You know what I mean? Thank you, Queen, for joining us in our kingdom colonization efforts. We look forward to working with you and bringing forth everything out of you the same way you'll do for everybody that's on board here. So thank you again, Queen, for coming on and gracing us with your presence. All right, guys. Same deal. Rock Truth are absolutely. Yeah, I forgot. It's Rock Truth, regardless of the consequences. Peace.
Or absolutely nothing. Rock truth. Conversations fuel the mind. They current and they right on time. Or absolutely nothing. It's us, it's you. You rock the truth. Rock the truth. Or absolutely nothing. Rock truth. Conversations fuel the mind. They current and they right on time. Or absolutely nothing. It's us, it's you. You rock the truth.